What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for jumping in to this video today. My name is Danny ColdBlood, aka MusicVidiot, and I have a very awesome video planned for you guys today. Today I am joined with the one, the only, Trippy Commentaries. Trippy, what is going on, my man?
Yo, what's up, Danny? Great to be on the channel. Gonna be awesome.
Oh, man, great to have you. Thank you so much for joining, man. This is a perfect night for hunting, Trippy. Look at that. We got a full moon out there. We are on Mount Chiliad. The stars are shining bright, and we are in a car that is just giving off clues. So I think this is the perfect... What is... Trippy, did you put a sticky bomb on my car?
Yeah, that was my fault. I was looking at the car because I'd never seen this before, and it's kind of weird how you have Penrith on the car. You also have Atomic on the car. We've been looking at, the Atomic blimp seems a little bit close to Atomic Bomb. And there's even Badger on the car with the Badger logo, which can be found on the satellite on top of the Zancudo bunker. So this is pretty cool. I never really looked at this car, and this is what you scooped me up in.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. This came in one of the recent updates, and even the description for the car I thought was a little suspicious. It has so many different clues that actually lead to a lot of relevant stuff so far when looking at the Chiliad Mystery.
Yeah, this is interesting that they would decide to put, obviously, Penrith. I mean, that's one of the most interesting logos you'll ever see in the game. I've never seen it on anything before until now. It's on the car. And then Badger, like I said, it's got that interesting logo, because Badger is found on the satellite there on the Zancudo bunker, like I said, and I feel like the logo looks a little bit like the abduction beam. I mean, it's not straight up and down, but it still does look like the abduction beam.
It really does. So we are in the TO1 and TO2 tunnel. You guys should be familiar with this by now. For you guys that don't know, we have voices in single player. When we come into this tunnel, you bring 2 or 3 characters with you. You can't do it if you're playing as just one character. You have to have at least 2 characters together, and you'll hear very faintly, you'd hear voices in this tunnel throughout the entire tunnel, and we don't really know what they're saying. We have done different tactics to try to boost it up, and I don't think, Trippy, do you know if we've had anyone say exactly what it might be saying yet, or is it still just mumbo jumbo right now?
Yeah, I mean, all the feedback that I've been getting on my channel is, most people are saying that it definitely has some sort of alien signature to it. I know that's what you thought, but most of the people are pretty much just getting some sort of mumbling. I have heard a few phrases mentioned, but nothing really definitive. It's mainly just mumbling, possibly a conversation, by aliens. It could be an Easter egg of maybe developers talking if they wanted to do something weird like that. But it is strange that it's in the game. I felt like it was weird how it resets, so it's not like it's something that you can't say is just out of the ordinary. It just plays randomly. It's actually a track that resets, and the fact that it resets kind of shows you that Rockstar put it in the game intentionally. So I'm not sure why they would make it so discreet as far as what the hell it's actually saying.
Right, and I like that you brought up that it resets, because what triggers it to start again on its loop is movement. Any kind of movement will trigger the voices to start going on again for their, next loop. I'm not too sure if it's part of the Chiliad Mystery as a whole, or if it's just a little Easter egg like you said. But it is in a location where we were brought to, throughout the Epsilon tracks. It said where the blast cannot be felt.
Yeah, I think it really is more signs that Chiliad is a volcano, possibly an active volcano. But I'm not sure if, getting to the tunnels and the alien signature, because now we also learned that the signal or the voices, whatever you want to call it, can be heard in every underground tunnel in the game. So I'm not sure if it has something to do with Chiliad, this tunnel in particular. I think it has more to do with something that you talked about, a couple months back or whatever, just the underground tunnels being referred to so much in the game. Los Angeles has a history of secret underground tunnels, so it only makes sense for Rockstar to include that history in this version of Los Santos.
Right. Yeah, and I think that there is a big connection with what you were just saying too, because in real life, they had the whole tunnel system under Los Angeles, and the way that they shown people how to kind of go about the illegal deeds underground was by big paintings, big murals, and that was their direction. So isn't it kind of a coincidence that that's what we have to give us direction, for this mystery, is a mural?
It's definitely no coincidence. Now, there is something I wanted to talk to you about here while we're in the TO1 tunnels. I know a lot of people are really interested in this, Danny, and something I've been wanting to ask you about here. You have the TO1 letters and, the symbol right there, of course, associated with the TO1 door. You can see the 01 on the door itself. And then even if you look up here, I always thought it was interesting how you can even see the TO1 marked on the ventilation system above as well. So it's just so weird how that ChiliadMystery.com pointed us towards this TO1 so much, and it's just pointed out in multiple ways. I don't know. I just feel like there's something going on here. The fact that all of this is right above the door, that's just odd. How about the blue box up here? That's just definitely glaring.
This is a pretty awesome observation, Trip, because you know what? I was just talking to somebody recently. One of the viewers were talking to me about San Andreas and the jetpack. And, one of the things, to get the jetpack, they mentioned a key card, like a key access thing, which we have over here, the keypad. And then they were also mentioning, like, going through, like, a ventilation duct or something like that. And that's kind of what we're looking at up there. And the fact that you just pointed out the TO1 is marked up there as well as on the door and the wall, and it has similarities to San Andreas with the jetpack. This could be hinting at something bigger than we might have originally thought.
It's definitely odd. I'm not sure why they're pointing out TO1 so much. I mean, TO1, for what it's worth, for ChiliadMystery.com to point this door out, TO1 is a door that points into Mount Chiliad. The other door over here points the opposite direction, and we know they both have different textures. The TO1 door sounds hollow. The TO2 door doesn't. It sounds like, it's thick or whatever, that like it's never going to open. So that's another thing worth pointing out. The fact that TO1 points towards Mount Chiliad and TO2 points the opposite direction. Obviously, there is a TO2 over here as well, just like there's a TO1, and everything's on the ventilation system above it. I don't know. It definitely stands out to me. I'm not sure if it'll mean anything. With everybody telling us to try out different theories here, it's hard what to make out of it and what to try. The thing that stands out most to me right now is the blue box up there.
I'm not sure if I ever really got a good look at this blue box. What the heck is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. It definitely stands out. It's blue, so it's got that epsilon color. So that certainly should be, pointed out compared to everything else around it. And notice how the wiring, right next to it goes all the way down the wall right to another box that looks just like it, as well as the other blue box. So these are all connected. Danger, 2400 volts here. There's been people to comment at Trippy Commentaries, mentioning you, saying, hey, Danny pointed out that 2400 volts, that's pretty close to half of 1.21 gigawatts. So it's just a lot of coincidences going on here in this tunnel. If you believe in the ChiliadMystery.com website actually being legit, then there's a reason why all this is put here.
I'm always a little bit skeptical at first with things, but when I found out that there's a Rockstar office within 22 or 24 minutes of the company or whatever that site was put up with, that really got me thinking, man, because that could easily be Rockstar that made that website.
This TO1 door has a distinct look, that's different than the other one. It stands out. I mean, you saw the other door. I was just knocking it, and it had all kinds of crazy looking dents in it. This one is completely different. It's just weird. Why are they so different like that?
I
It
don't
really
know.
does look like a door that should be opening up. Now, we have to point out, because I don't know about you, I've had a ton of comments of people saying just no clip through the door, damn it. I mean, yeah, people have done that. You're going to no clip into nothingness. There's nothing back there. But at the same time, you don't fall down. There's no invisible floor. You'll actually keep walking. So most of the time, when you're under the map and there's no floor, you'll just fall and you'll respawn back on the normal map.
Right.
But in this case, you will keep walking, but there is nothing there.
That's crazy, because that makes me think of that whole thing that Fearless brought up, that trail that's on the map that doesn't actually have a trail. When I first seen that, the first thing that comes to my mind was that's like where these doors would lead. That's in the mountain. Maybe that's the Rockstar's way of showing us there is a pathway or a tunnel under, our feet when we're standing on that part of the map.
Yeah, it's weird how they have all these lines. I did look into that trail because that's something I noticed a long time ago, and it looks like, and it's in the original version of the game, you can't even tell because that trail, the graphics aren't good enough to kind of show the texture change. But it actually turns out that trail is a little bit of a change between the green and the brown. It's hard to explain, but basically the trail explains, it just shows off like a texture change in the map. So I'm not sure why Rockstar would put that texture change on the map itself. When you pause and you go into it, it just really stands out. And it's weird that they would put that in there. So as much as it's showing off texture changes, it just makes me think that there might be something going on underground. I don't think that it's in the game right now. It would be so big, but maybe they originally planned it, or maybe it's going to happen at some point.
Right.
But it just makes me think, with all these different texture changes and all these different changes in elevation, that it would be perfect for Rockstar to house something underground.
Definitely. I mean, even in that song, when you beat the game, it's a setup. We got to get underground. They're telling us we got to get underground.
Yeah.
So there's so many clues. It's just hard not to wonder, when are we going to just find that last piece that's going to make it all make sense? We do have something cool I want to show off. I showed it off before, but we have these crazy textures at the entrance to this tunnel, man, and I just think it's crazy because I've shown off textures and faces in the walls on my channel before. I know you have, but out of all the stuff that I've ever seen shown off, this stuff is really blatant. This stuff is like popping out. It's detailed, it's defined.
Yeah, I see why you're definitely pointing out this one here. I noticed the two eyes there, so that makes it stand out, and then the nose as well. It definitely looks like the nose of like a wolf or something. I'm getting Indian wolf face out of it, but there's also what looks like maybe some sort of alien, or I don't know if that's an owl or something. It's odd. It definitely stands out. I feel like Rockstar hit all these demonic faces and everything in the game, just like they hit all kinds of other Easter eggs, and just because you find a clue to the Chiliad Mystery or some other mystery doesn't mean it's pointing you in the right direction. It could just be another reference that Rockstar feels like hiding in the game just because they can, and I think that's just another demonic face. Now, why is Rockstar putting demonic faces in the game? Good question. I mean, it's that some of them are obvious. It's not like they're hiding all of them. Some of them are in tattoos or on t-shirts you can buy, especially here in GTA Online. So it's just something that Rockstar's doing, putting demonic faces into the game. I think it's just something that matches in with Grand Theft Auto, really.
The biggest problem for me, Trippy, it's hard to have that strong discernment to know really what clues are meant for what, which ones should be taken, which should be taken with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? At least for me, speaking for myself, that could be sometimes the hardest task that I'm faced with.
Let's get deep with this, Danny, right? You have, people talk about the Illuminati, right? And how, all of these Illuminati gestures and symbols, they're everywhere, right? They're all in front of you. And people are like, why is that? Well, it's because supposedly the Illuminati likes to hide things in plain sight, just to, that's part of their thing. If they have something hidden, well, they want to have references to it all over the place. And that is no different here in Grand Theft Auto 5. Not only is there something huge hidden in the game, but they're going to put references to it all over the place just to fuck with you, man. That's part of the beauty of it, really.
There's so much in plain sight, man. Like you just said, with the shadows even. Remember the shadows? We were finding shadows at the observatory, at the lighthouse, the eye, at the Vinewood Bowl, the another eye. So they are using the same type of symbolism as like you said, like the Illuminati. So it could be a big, nod to them. You know, hey, we're going to use your tactic and show that we can do it too. We can get away with it just as good as you can. You know what I mean? Like,
I think so.
It's
Grand
all
Theft
over,
Auto is, it's so realistic. You know, it's one of those things where they're trying to, you know, pretty much resemble real life in any way possible, and that's one of the things that people are talking about. And if you hit the cell phone, the first thing you see on the bottom left is a blatant, the Securo Serve Illuminati symbol. So absolutely,
right,
they're definitely doing the same stuff.
You know, when this game first came out, I think this is even still on the one wiki page, the art, I think it was the art director or lead designer for Rockstar for this Grand Theft Auto, he made the statement that he strongly believes that there is so many Easter eggs and stuff hidden in this game. He strongly believes that all of this will never be found. He doesn't believe that it ever will all be found. And, when you say something like that, that's a challenge for a hunter, like, now we're looking, you know what I mean? But, kind of just going back to what we started with here, these tunnels, man, I really think that there's going to be something that happens with this area, at least. I've been seeing different stuff. I don't know what your take on it is about, like, Morse code and stuff. I've seen different things recently. I'm not too sure if there's Morse code here or not. I've heard that there was Morse code at that one Space 101 or whatever it is billboard. I have not yet heard it there yet, though. So Morse code has been something that's being brought up yet again. We're being brought to the same locations again and again, you know what I mean? And, there's a UFO that shows up at the top of this mountain right above us. And we both just made videos talking about, like, aliens and stuff. So we're not really going off topic. We're kind of, as the hunt goes, we're kind of, like, doing a pretty good job with our search. We're kind of, like, finding the clues, and we're kind of narrowing it down to the same kind of relevancy. So I think it's just a matter of time, man, before one of us hits gold and solves this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, when you talk about the tunnel, you have the alien signals, so that's a link to the aliens. There's aliens certainly on top of Mount Chiliad in the UFO. The Altruist camp is not too far away. They're looking out for aliens. So we know that Fort Zancudo, which is not too far away, they're also dealing with aliens with the UFO. So it definitely all links to aliens. Now, here's the question I have for you. If everybody is now looking into Morse code, and the update that I have, from my end for you, Danny, as far as Morse code is concerned, everybody that I'm talking to has not been able to decipher any Morse code out of these lights up here. But we do know that the Altruist camp uses Morse code on their website, so we know it's part of the secrets to the game. But do you think, the aliens would use Morse code? Do you think that maybe the aliens and Morse code can be together? Like, perhaps the aliens themselves can give us a secret Morse code message somehow? You know what?
That would be something that I would say yes to, because you know what? As I'm thinking about it, man, there's been so many times where even like me and you have talked about it, like even looking at like the vineyard. We find, a different discovery, like a sun symbol, and then we like go back in that area, like the vineyard with the Morse code possibly being in the bushes. Morse code has been brought up time and time again. We have it at Rebel Radio. Like I said, there was possibly a Morse code at that space billboard, radio station billboard. Now in here with these lights, so it's something that's brought up time and time again, and it's been used and utilized in the game. So I would have to say I would not put it past Rockstar at all to have implemented Morse code, especially with the conspiracy or the aliens in this game, or the mystery. I mean, definitely, I think it's possible.
See, because you mentioned that, you know, the Rockstar dev or whoever it was said that not all the Easter eggs will be discovered in the game. Well, one of the main reasons that is because they're using Morse code. How the hell are normal Joes like you and me supposed to decipher all these Morse code messages? Not the easiest thing. I suppose that's something I should probably look into. You know, I know the military has to do it, so there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to read Morse code, especially if Rockstar is going to hide Morse code messages in the game. Once again, the Altruist Camp website proves without a doubt that Rockstar has hid Morse code messages in the game. So now that we know for a fact it's in there, you know, we're probably going to have to look into it, because I guarantee you, we have the Morse code message at that underwater hatch. That's a GTA 4 Easter egg with Nico's cousin asking us to go bowling. So it just shows you there's got to be a Morse code message. There's a couple different things we're looking into there at the tunnel, but not only the tunnel, I'm sure the UFOs, and especially Fort Zancudo, there's probably a significant Morse code message that we're overlooking. That's my guess.
I think that's a very good guess too, man. You know, I really do. And there's one thing that we have been constantly learning, something that Rockstar has been beating and pounding into our skulls, and that is time of day, weather, you know, day of week. That stuff is big. And with the latest, you know, biggest Easter egg I'm still considering, which is the Beast, you know, in single player, one of the things I noticed by, you know, going through it personally is that they, you know, have you playing Bigfoot and you're running right by Ursula's house. You're running in all these crazy relevant locations. For example, one of them was a suspicious location. I think our first discussion video was talking about that suspicious location we're not too far from now. That's one of the places that you're led to is Bigfoot. You know, there's a gang attack right at that TO1 tunnel, right in that tunnel.
Really?
Yeah, and you notice how we were just
one here
there.
At the hangar.
We were just there wasn't one. It's by time of day. Like, there's some gang attacks that only show up in, like, the nighttime, some that only show up in the day. And at nighttime, a gang attack is right in damn smack center of that TO1, TO2 tunnel. So maybe, you know, online can show us some kind of, like, clues into this. If TO1, TO2 is something of relevance to this mystery, maybe the online showing us a gang attack is a clue at maybe at what time we should go there with all 3 or 2 characters. You know, just an idea.
It's interesting, yeah. There definitely might be something going on here in GTA Online. I mean, we mentioned how Rockstar is going to put references to the mystery all over the place, so I would have to think that there's something going on here in GTA Online, mystery related. I don't know. Might have to do some more research. I haven't been playing much GTA Online just because it's been glitchy in the past, but I gotta say, it seems pretty flawless these days, so I might start playing more online. Might have to do a little bit of investigating.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, man. It's pretty nice. See, I just, I don't know, man. I really think there's something going on with that last Easter egg too. I'm telling you, with the whole, you know, being sent on a path. You know what I mean? And you're looking, and you're going to all the relevant locations, and even the tunnels, even the TO1 tunnels. I mean, that's right where a couple of those peyotes to even start that Easter egg off. Like, you have to eat one, I think, every day of the week to become Bigfoot until you finally get put on the actual hunt to hunt down the beast. And all those peyotes are right next to that tunnel entrance. They're all along the line of it. So, I mean, they really are putting us in this, you know, the relevant areas.
It's pretty interesting. Think about it. We talked about, you know, we're talking about aliens, of course, here. So when it comes to aliens, right, we both have mentioned Zaffo in the past. I recently did a video, and I actually did a YouTube search to see if anybody else had talked about Zaffo, who is the supposed leader of the aliens here in Grand Theft Auto 5. And sure enough, you know, you'd come up. You're the only other channel to talk about Lord Zaffo. And if you look at the references to Lord Zaffo, you know, you have the Altruists, and the other 2 references, other than Ron, are 2 missions. And those 2 missions are Repossession and Eye in the Sky.
Come
so
on.
I think that's an interesting coincidence. Repossession, where I personally have a theory that Michael has been repossessed by Lord Zaffo. That is my theory. And then you have Eye in the Sky, which there's no other message. When it comes to the hidden messages and Easter eggs in the game, Eye in the Sky seems to be one of those reoccurring themes. So for the two messages, for the two missions, for them to refer to Lord Zaffo, for one to be, to be Eye in the Sky, I think that's pretty interesting. I think that's not a coincidence at all.
I think that's just, dude, that's crazy, especially because recently, right over at the Altruist camp, isn't there like a big eye in the sky that we can see at sunset?
That's been one of the Easter eggs going around, the new Eye in the Sky Easter egg that people have been talking about. I haven't really looked into it a ton because I know it kind of reminds me of the UFOs that you and I had talked about in the past.
Right.
So to me, it could just be another anomaly in the sky. I just have a feeling with all the UFOs, there needs to be more going on in the sky. If there's all these UFOs, how come there's not more UFO sightings from, in the stars and whatnot? You should be able to look in the stars and see a shooting star, something like that, which there's not enough of. Or maybe it's just so hard to see, like the Eye in the Sky Easter egg, that we just haven't noticed it. Because if you remember that UFO that you and I looked at, that was very hard to find. I mean, that video, it took us like an hour before we actually came across it. It was not easy, but when we did actually see it, it was pretty convincing. We knew that there's a reason that it was there.
Michael is the one that, goes through the Epsilon program, and they're the ones that are talking about, Xandar. I know in your video you made a relation to, similar names. I mean, he would be the one that would be a prime candidate. He's got the aliens tied directly to him. He gets pulled into a UFO, for Christ's sakes.
When he gets abducted, also, if you notice, they didn't really probe him or anything like that. He gets abducted, he gets laid down, and they don't do any experiments. They simply look at him and then they send him right back down to Earth. It's almost like either they repossessed him or they were like, oh, we don't have to do any kind of experiments on this human because he's one of us. And that's why they sent him right back down safely.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. I like that one a lot.
Michael is an alien.
Dude, I've always wondered something's going on with Michael, because I don't know. This storyline, I was just talking about this the other day with Delta, like, depending on how you play the game, it should be, like, if you really think about it, there's so many different ways you could perceive the storyline because of all the different dialogues, depending on what missions you start with, what characters, and, I mean, you can kind of get a different flavor from, one person to the next, depending on, all the different ways they chose to do things and who to do them with. So it's just crazy. Like, that's why I still feel deep inside it has something to do maybe with mission orders, because I feel like there's so many different ways to perceive what the storyline to this game actually is. So how are we supposed to come back when our story is complete if we all have a different idea of what that story is? I think that we covered a lot of awesome topics today, man. Is there any other things that push it? Is there any other stuff that you want to cover?
Not much, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in the video. Definitely appreciate Danny for having me on the channel. So make sure to show love to Danny. If you're not subscribed to Trippy Commentaries, then definitely check that out as well for sure.
Oh, definitely, man. Thank you so much for joining, man. I know it's probably a little bit longer than we planned, but hey, dude, it's always fun, man. And
there's
really
a lot of stuff
it.
I still want to bring up, man. There's stuff that definitely a bunch to talk about, especially, like I said, it's something that I talked about not too long ago about. I think that Michael is Zaffo. That's my theory, and I think that there's still a lot to talk about when it comes to that. Wait a minute,
man.
Hold on, Danny. I'm sorry. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I just heard that there's a pre-order for the Wispy Woods Chiliad Mystery book, guys. You gotta pre-order that yourselves. It's gonna be amazing. But I gotta go pre-order this, Danny. It's good having you, on the channel. I appreciate you helping out on Trippy Commentaries. You're amazing, Danny. Thanks for finally having me on here at the MusicVidiot, aka Danny ColdBlood channel. But I gotta go. I'm out of here, guys. Peace out. Stay trippy.
Fucking epic. Fucking epic. Until next time, take it easy, and as always, stay trippy and peace. I gotta go get that book.